The other day, I duetted a video from an attorney named Rachel Cohen. She was talking about her very ingenious way to create backlash, to create consequences for the big law firms and the attorneys in those big law firms that are collaborating with the Trump regime. The way these incredibly wealthy attorneys are protecting their security clearances and profit margins and are selling out the American people and democracy to do it. They have given Trump, all of them together, hundreds of millions of dollars of free legal services for the causes Trump cares about. Now, what's incredibly demoralizing about this is that these are law firms that are historically on the progressive side. They've supported Democratic causes. They've stood up to Trump in the past. But at the same time, big law is full of really wealthy attorneys who at the end of the day, they care about their money more than they care about the rule of law, more than they care about the causes that they have claimed to champion. And it's been so heartbreaking for so many people to see these big law firms fail to stand up, to just immediately, Paul Weiss immediately rolled over. And I think it's up to 8 law firms now that all said, sure, take tons of money from us. We will do your bidding, Trump. We know that what you are demanding of us is literally a shakedown. It's illegal. And I talked about this a number of weeks ago, but members of Congress have sent letters to these law firms saying, hey, just so you know, cooperating with Trump in this manner, being willing to do his bidding in this way, you may also be breaking the law. Lots of laws, state and federal. And that was an excellent move by those members of Congress. We need to be reminding every collaborator with the Trump regime that a day of accountability is coming. You will have to face accountability for the illegal things you're doing now when the post-Trump era comes, and it will be here sooner than you think. We should be reminding that's a good deterrent for people who have not yet buckled, and it is a reminder to people who are already complicit in supporting fascism. If you withdraw your cooperation now, maybe it will go easier for you when justice comes. And it's been so hard to watch these historically Democratic-leaning, progressive-leaning law firms buckle and fold for Trump, because not only are they now giving him hundreds of millions of dollars of free legal services, that's pro bono work they were previously giving to worthy causes, worthy people, needy people, to support those social justice issues they claimed to care about. And now those people and causes will not be getting that legal aid and support. Instead, all of that expertise and all of those resources will be going to Trump instead. And I think for a lot of people, watching these big law firms bend the knee, watch these big law firms betray the American people to protect their profit margin, that has been as heartbreaking, if not more heartbreaking, than what Columbia University has done. Somebody said in my comments about this, lawyers may do the legal thing, but it doesn't mean that they know to do the moral thing. And in this instance, they're probably doing the illegal thing. But it can be really hard to watch this happen. It can be a real blow to people who are willing to hold the line, who are making real sacrifices every day to hold the line against fascism, to watch wealthy, protected lawyers not be willing to do the same thing. But now let me tie it back to attorney Rachel Cohen that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. Because for every greedy, despicable lawyer that is willing to betray the American people, there are so many who are willing to stand up and fight for us. And Rachel Cohen is one of those. In fact, she was an attorney at Skadden, one of the big law firms that very quickly bent the knee so that they could protect all their big accounts. They could protect their security clearance because they did a little bit of calculus in their head and said, oh, we don't want to fight this, even though we would probably win in court. We think the political calculus is better for us to bend the knee to Trump because we think maybe he'll be in power for a long time, or we think maybe we will protect our money for longer. We'll end up financially ahead if we buckle for Trump now. They did the self-serving thing, but a number of their attorneys have quit. A number of their clients have said, get fucked. And now they are facing backlash, including the backlash that Rachel Cohen mentioned in her video. And I would encourage you to go to Rachel's TikTok and watch her quick little 3-minute video about how you can help stick it to the attorneys who betrayed all of us. And if you're watching this on YouTube because you don't have TikTok, then you can follow the links in the video description to see Rachel's video and my response to it earlier. And if you already saw those videos on YouTube, I think they have over 100,000 views now, you might not know who Rachel is and why her content is so significant and why what she's doing matters so much. So Rachel was an attorney at Skadden who has a conscience, who has ethics, and said, I am not going to work for this law firm. I am not willing to participate in the harm that Skadden is enacting by rolling over and collaborating with Trump. It's important to note that in the context of all of this happening, there are law firms that are standing up. And Perkins Coie, based in Seattle, guess what? They stood up to Trump and a judge was like, yep, he can't bully you in this way. His executive order? No, absolutely not. So if all of these law firms that had folded immediately had instead gotten together and formed a united front to hold the line, they would have likely all also won in court like Perkins Coie. But they didn't. They just thought about the money and they folded. Okay, but back to why Rachel is so important, because even I in this video, I'm like, ugh, these lawyers just sold it. It's so demoralizing to see these attorneys sell us out. And that's really where I want to go with this video. I don't want us to get bogged down by the people who are chicken shit cowards, by the people who are greedy and selfish. I want us to look to the people who are resisting, because I know the negative stories can get more headlines. And so you might not have heard about what Rachel did and how she absolutely is not alone. Again, Perkins Coie, entire law firm stood up to Trump and won. But let me read this piece to you from abovethelaw.com. I'm gonna reference some of it. It's from April 22nd, and it might help you understand why Rachel is such an inspirational, encouraging figure and someone we should look to, and someone who I think in this time gives me hope, at least, and will definitely, I hope give you hope as well. I said hope a lot. It's late at night and I'm real sleep deprived, y'all. So just hang in there with me, even if I'm not at 100%. So Rachel Cohen, former Skadden associate, to be honored for condemning Trump's assault on the rule of law. With the rule of law being bent to its maximum capacity under the Trump administration, many lawyers find themselves unable to do anything but watch the situation unfold, slack-jawed with confusion about how this could possibly be happening in America. Other lawyers, however, have found the courage and resolve to stand up and do what is right, regardless of the fact that they may have been standing alone in their quest to protect the legal profession from harm. One of those fearless lawyers is Rachel Cohen, the former Skadden associate who found herself publicly condemning Trump's threat to the rule of law before many others found the strength to join her. Remember, courage is contagious. People saw Rachel standing up first and said, if she can do it, I can do it. I won't be alone in standing up against fascism. I won't be alone in standing up for the rule of law. They're doing that because they saw Rachel do it first. So Rachel first hit the headlines because in March, she put together a letter that more than 2,000 lawyers ended up signing on to, asking that big law stand up, speak up in defense of the legal profession and not bend the knee to Trump. She then offered her firm a conditional 2 weeks notice via firm-wide email, pleading with Skadden, simply do the right thing, admonish the Trump administration for its attacks on law firms. We do not have time, Cohen wrote. It is now or it is never, and if it's never, I will not continue to work here. The firm, instead of standing up, accepted Cohen's resignation, and days later, word of Skadden's capitulation to Trump hit the news. To this day, Cohen continues to rally around lawyers, encouraging them to pursue justice for the rule of law in the U.S. And she's being honored for her willingness to stand up and do the right thing. The Rosenstrasse Civil Courage Foundation, a nonprofit organization based on inspiring acts of civil courage in everyday life on behalf of democracy, announced that it would be honoring 2 lawyers for their courage at a time when the rule of law is under threat, and one of those is Rachel Cohen. The other attorney you may know is Nikki Fried. Nikki stood up against repressive anti-choice laws in Florida and was arrested. Now is the time for you to follow Nikki and Rachel's lead. Make your voices heard. Condemn Trump's attacks on lawyers. Protect the profession. It is crucial that we rise up to protect the rule of law. It can only bend so much until it breaks and our democracy lays in ruins. It's so important to focus on the people who are doing good, the people who are fighting, the people from whom we can draw courage. And it's important to note that a week after Rachel was honored with this award, thousands of lawyers and judges around the world stood up and renewed their oath to the Constitution. I believe Legal Eagle was one of them. They did that as a public show that they will stand up against the illegal actions of the Trump regime, stand for the Constitution, the rule of law, and the American people. Please know that resistance is everywhere. For every cowardly, greedy law firm that is folding, there are hundreds of attorneys standing up for the rule of law and for you and me. So let Rachel and all those folks encourage you.